Hello, good evening, everyone, and hope that you can all hear me. I I trust that we are fine and that we are doing very good. So again, I want to welcome us all to today's session on AWS learning series. So today we will be doing one of this. We'll be checking out on one of the security architecture that AWS has provided us, which is the GuardDuty. But of course, I wouldn't be doing this teaching because I am just here and to moderate this session. My name is Emmanuel Idowu, and I will be your moderator for this session. So, without much ado, I'll be inviting the person who is going to be taking us this session, the person of Mr. Goodness Adediran. He's going to be taking us on the topic leveraging Amazon Guard Duty extended threat detection to enhance cloud security. And of course, because this is a very important topic that anybody would want to miss, it's a session that you actually you want to hear if, especially if you are in the cloud, if you are working in the cloud architecture industry, you actually want to know how you should provide, secure your cloud architecture. And so this evening, we'll have Mr. Goodness Adediran take us on this session. Thank you so very much. So I hand it over to you. Mr. Goodness, please over to you.
All right. Thank you. Hi everyone. Hope we are all doing great. Please confirm if you can see me and see my screen, my slides rather. All right. Thank you for that. All right. All right. Hi everyone. So today we'll be looking at leveraging Amazon GuardDuty extended threat detection feature, right? Which was released of recent. Released in 20, announced in 2024, released or more talked about more in reinforced 2025, which is this month. So let's dive in. So if you have any question, you can put it in the chat box. I'll respond briefly. I'm checking it in and out to them. All right. Oh, sorry. You say you can't see my slide. Let me try sharing again. How about now? Can you see my slides? Eh, sorry, I'm toggling between. So my slides. Yeah. Oh, all right. Sorry, give me a minute. How about now? Yeah, you should be able to see my slides now. Cool. Thank you. All right. So, hi everyone once again. So we'll be talking about leveraging Amazon GuardDuty extended threat detection feature that was just recently announced, then added, then talked about more. So let's dive in. So so what are the modern challenges when it comes to cloud security? The security challenges still remain the same. We have threat actors coming up with sophisticated attack strategies, right? And these multi-stage attacks are becoming difficult to detect. All right, you have thousands of logs, and going through them becomes very tiring. In fact, getting your SIM solutions or your source solutions to triage them becomes difficult. All right, these are existing problems we still have. Also, the alert fatigue, when security teams encounter a lot of false positive, right? They tend to get overwhelmed with this issue, um, due to like low volume or low context alerts being triggered. Then we also have the why is missing. So we have individual alerts, right? For example, S3 bucket is being triggered. For example, someone just created an EC2 instance, but it doesn't give a detailed context into a larger attack propagation. So, for example, if an attacker is able to successfully compromise an environment, right, and they began to perform some activities like privilege escalations or exfiltration of data, right, we get this event as a single signal or a single event. However, connecting the dots becomes very difficult. Okay, connecting the dots becomes very difficult. So this is one of the issues as well when it comes to cloud security challenges. Then the other one, lack of insight into what's happening inside running workload. So GuardDuty, Amazon security teams have been able to come up with runtime security features in GuardDuty, but sometimes it becomes difficult to still detect some of these things. So this becomes like still modern cloud security challenges that are being faced. So let's do a quick recap on GuardDuty, Amazon GuardDuty. All right. Um, so if you have any question or if you can't, um, someone asks, "Are you sharing the slides?" Yes, I will share the slides. All right. So what Amazon GuardDuty basically? So Amazon GuardDuty, cloud native security, intelligence threat detection solution. Basically monitors your account, your workload, your data for malicious activities. We call it the threat detection guy, like service basically, and it's leverage machine learning capabilities, um, anomaly detection, and it's also integrated with threat intelligence. So for example, we have the MITRE attack framework, um, we have TT based detection algorithms. We have a lot of threat intelligence that they leverage in order to get themselves updated, for GuardDuty to be updated with latest threats and vulnerabilities. All right, and some of the unusual activities that GuardDuty detects. We are talking about compromises to EC2 instance. We're talking about potential exfiltration of data, among others. So GuardDuty has always been a go-to cloud native security solutions for security engineers. Now, the evolution of GuardDuty. So in December 2024, AWS announced the release of GuardDuty extended threat detection feature, right? Why did they have like why what prompted them to come up with this feature? So they discovered that a lot of their customers, right, have issues when it comes to analyzing and responding to volume and complexity of security events. So we are talking about security events spanning from different data sources, from different data sources, from CloudTrail to S3 data events to EC2 flow. We're talking about a lot of data sources. So these data sources becomes so depending on the complexity of your environment, right? These data sources get to expand. So the reason why they came up with um, the extended threat detection feature is because they discovered that a lot of their customers have issues when it comes to analyzing these events. And as much as their GuardDuty works effectively in getting the tasks done in identifying specific threats, they discovered that it's also difficult to correlate related activities. So, for example, mapping these activities together. If someone, so let's look at the old way. The old way of GuardDuty is basically it gives you a finding as the image attached. Sorry, it's kind of small, but as the image attached, you see that there's you see that there's a single event or a single finding, such as like a Kubernetes container was configured with sensitive events or sensitive mounts, an IAM user exhibited malicious behavior. These are just single events that is being triggered by GuardDuty. However, it doesn't connect the dots. Analysts have to manually connect the dots in order to say, okay, I guess this specific user gain access by stealing an access key or by assuming an higher privilege before they launched an EC2 instance or before they disabled S3 server access login. All right. So AWS security team came up, identified this problem, and decided to come up with the extended threat detection feature. All right. So now the new paradigm of this feature. So to address this, they worked on their advanced AI and ML capabilities. So what's it called? AI and machine learning capabilities, leveraging different threat intelligence, correlates these security signals across different services to detect active attack sequence and reveal the full stack chain. So it basically maps everything. If you're familiar with the MITRE attack framework or the MITRE attack framework for cloud, it gives you like an overview of different. We are going to get into that, but just for context, it gives you an overview of the different stages from initial access, gaining access, reconnaissance, credential access, exfiltration, persistence, stuff like that. It gives you that attack sequence. So you get to have more context to, oh, this event wasn't just triggered just for it's actually it's part of the an attack chain. It's part of the plan of an attacker within your environment. So what GuardDuty present now is attack sequence finding. So a new category of finding with critical severity. So it also what's it called? Break this stuff down with respect to MITRE attack framework. All right. So let me okay, I think I have so so I'm going to share my screen for more context to talking about the MITRE attack framework. So also of recent, they released a also of recent AWS released what we call the threat research. Okay, so AWS released the threats technique catalog for AWS. So they basically released something relating to cloud. So we have the MITRE attack cloud metrics, right? Which gives so most threat intelligence or security analysts, they come in here to map different cloud activities. So for example, mapping them manually. All right, this is what they use. And also AWS has also created their own to be able to help people understand different things. So for example, when it comes to valid accounts, when an attacker compromises an IAM user, it's related to these tactics. So either defense evasion, they're trying to maintain persistence or do privilege escalation or for initial access. So this metrics allows cloud security engineers or cyber defenders to be able to understand or map easily. Okay, so I just want to give that for a bit of context to that. All right, so back to our slides. All right, so back to our slides. We have the threats technique catalog recently released by AWS, and we have the existing cloud metrics, MITRE attack cloud metrics. So AWS basically just came up with builds their own catalog based on the existing cloud MITRE attack cloud metrics. So just for context, you can check in, try to explore them for more context. All right. If you have any question, please just drop in the chat so that we can go. So let's do a bit of demo. All right. So what we'll be doing for this demo, we will try to deploy some infrastructure. So we have two AWS pen testing or simulation tools. I mean, Parquet is mostly like a pen testing security tool, open source security tool. We have the Stratos Red Team as well, which is basically for simulation. So I already did some simulations. However, I included some resources on if you want to try replicating this within your environment just to see how it works. You can. So you need an AWS account. Then AWS, so Amazon GuardDuty by default have access to these foundational log sources. Get those log sources from all these log sources basically, all the data events from these log sources basically. So the process we're going to do, firstly, we're going to enable GuardDuty within a single account. I'll also show if you're doing for managing for an AWS org. I'll also show how you can add multiple accounts and monitor, enable GuardDuty across different accounts and monitor, do an extended GuardDuty threat detection within your GuardDuty. Then also for the data source for threat detection, the extended threat detection, there are three: the S3 buckets, the EKS, and runtime monitoring. So for if you want more context to or additional type of attack sequence detection, right, you can enable this, but depends on what environment. If you have resources deployed within your environment, all right. Then also we're going to simulate attack activities within using both the Stratos Red Team and PACU. Then we're going to see how the multi-stage attack chains and see how to connect the dots between them. So if you have any question, please let me know. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. All right. All right. I want to confirm if you are following me. Before I proceed to the demo. All right. Thanks for the feedback. All right. So I'll proceed to doing the demo. I'll check in the chats from time to time. All right. So let's start with the GuardDuty. So if you're depending on what if you're doing a single deployment of GuardDuty within a single account just for demo sake and learning purpose, you can decide what's it called, what region you want to deploy. So I'll be deploying on US East 2 region, and I'm going to select all features. So when I'll be prompted to enable, so if you're enabling GuardDuty within a region for the first time, within the supported region for the first time, you get 30 days free trial. Okay. Otherwise, after that 30 days, you get charged. All right. So you can also assign an account, an AWS account, to manage this GuardDuty policies, GuardDuty account events. So if you have a security engineer, you can enable. You can if you have an AWS org where you have an organization unit and you have an account under that organization unit, basically for security purpose, you can assign the account or the security, the AWS account here. So let's enable GuardDuty. All right. So enabling GuardDuty by default, when we come, all these protection plans are there. The S3 protection, EKS. So the new one is the extended threat detection. All right, and it's enabled also by default. So basically, what we'll be looking at, what we'll be getting from this new feature is the multi-stage attack patterns or sequence that it's going to be revealing to us. Basically, what this is doing is picking different signals that normally it generates and connecting the dots for us. So instead of security engineers or security analysts connecting the dots themselves, it does it. All right. So so basically, we also have S3 protection. So if you want more context for extended threat detection coverage, you can enable S3 protection, EKS, and runtime monitoring. All right. So I'm just going to come to settings. Okay, let me talk about accounts for a minute. So for the account session, right, we can add. So if you have AWS organization, you can add your accounts to them. The AWS account, you can invite external accounts if you want. If you have someone like security um, company that manages or that they want to monitor your environment for you, you can enable this and let them do the monitoring for you. So just inviting someone to join. So you can have as many accounts as possible. Or if you have AWS org enabled and you have different organization units with security accounts, they are going to be they are going to reflect here. All right, they're going to reflect here. So let's go to settings. Okay, let me talk about usage for a minute. So for usage, you get charged. So if you have not used, so within this region, I haven't enabled GuardDuty before. So this is my first time. So I'm on free trial. So if you do that, if you enable GuardDuty from your end as well, you have free trial for a period of 30 days. All right. So, but if you've enabled GuardDuty within a region before, you get charged when you want to use GuardDuty next time. All right. You can also check more for GuardDuty pricing. So let's go to settings. So for the settings, we have policies that GuardDuty leverage. I am rules and policies that GuardDuty leverage to work effectively. Okay. I'm not going to touch much on this. So let me talk about the delegated administrator. I think I already mentioned that if you want to delegate GuardDuty role, like you want to delegate it to another account to monitor, to manage, and to do a lot of security overview on your account, then you can leverage delegation. So let's talk about work with sample findings. So we're going to generate some sample findings and see how the GuardDuty extended threat detection works. All right. So under settings, you come under generate sample findings, and there you have it generated. All right, so we have our sample findings. So when you go back to your summary, you have all the findings generated within. So don't forget this is within a particular region, not all regions. Okay, so these sample findings are just generated just to show us how the extended threat detection works. All right, so the new that was just recently added was the attack sequence. Basically, we have three attack sequence, total findings. So initially, what Amazon GuardDuty does is give you findings, but now it has been able to connect them into an attack sequence, which we're going to look into now. All right. So you can also this is also a new widget where you can um, prioritize triaging, okay, and also remediating which one. So if you want to top attack sequence that you need to work on, so you just click on this and start triaging them and investigating them, finding the root cause to them. All right. We also have some visualization, most common finding types. So for so okay, yeah, we have most common finding type. We also have resources with most findings, and we have least occurring. Okay, so this is just an overview of it. So let's dive into the attack sequence. So we have three of them. So let's take on the first one. The first one basically potential credentials of I am user John Doe indicated by a sequence of action. So this involve false signals. So it's able to GuardDuty has been able GuardDuty advanced ML or AI has been able to pick up these events and link them up together. All right, and it also so it happened. So this is the I am access key for John, though the account ID is this between event scene and last event with the following behavior. So there are five MITRE attack tactics observed: persistence, previous escalation, defense evasion, discovery, initial access. Don't forget I mentioned that um, the cloud attack metrics or the cloud metrics for MITRE attack basically supports gives cyber defenders ability to be able to look into certain things. So let's do a bit of let's do a bit of so for persistence. So okay, so let's come back to that for a minute. So also another five MITRE attack techniques were observed: impaired defense, disable cloud logs, account manipulation, additional cloud roles. So the attacker was able to follow this attack sequence when they were able to compromise. So the attacker compromised I am user John access key, and they were able to maintain persistence by creating additional manipulation. So let's say they created cloud role or leverage a cloud role. They leverage a valid account. Also, the so let's also look at force sensitive API code. So these are the API code. All right. We can decide to view the event in JSON, copy URL, but let's click on view details. All right. So viewing the details, we have more insights into what. So the findings. This is findings ID, the attack sequence, compromised credentials for John. The region it happened, US is 2, and the account ID. All right. So this is the MITRE attack flow. So the flow is usually when an attacker is want to compromise their targets, they go through a phase: reconnaissance, resource development. That's they're trying to do have an understanding of resource deployment, probably launching some scanning to understand the environment, initial access, execution, persistence. So from the entire MITRE attack chain, right? Persistence and defense evasion were things that were observed. So unauthorized I am user Tor IP caller. So this is another event signal, and also pentest I am user Kali. So these are two attack sequence within persistence and defense evasion. So we can also look into the key indicators. We have the Tor IP that was used, the attack techniques, account discovery, manipulations. Also, we can look into the threat, the actor. So the valid account that was compromised by the threat actor was John Doe account, and this is the status, MFA status, and the likes. Also, we can look into the endpoints like the IP address, the location, the anonymous system that was used, the connection, either inbound or outbound. All right. So these are more details. We can also track the timeline of the signals. So as of this time, June 6th, an API call was made like by creating an IAM role. So the attacker created an IAM role, all right, using these indicators. So this indicates persistence. When you create an IAM role, when an attacker creates an IAM role, is that they are trying to create a persistence or privilege escalation. So such that once their credentials are terminated, they can still maintain access within their environment, or they're trying to climb up the ladder that's basically gaining higher privileges or permission. So we have iris API call. So they created an IAM role, and the attack techniques, when you map it to MITRE attack, this is basically account manipulation. So they basically manipulate their the account by creating IAM roles, and the account credentials that was used is John, still John's account. Then from there, they also try to delete trail. So they are trying to cover their tracks at this junction. So we can say, oh, defense invasion. They're trying to delete, or we can also link it to modify CloudTrail logs, which is related to MITRE attack. So this is the attack technique that MITRE attack refers to, and still the attack vector, that is the credential of the individual that was compromised, was John. Then also we have the attach policy, okay, was invoked from Kali Linux laptop. So at this junction, the attacker is trying to maintain persistence. Okay, so this is basically just showing us a timeline. Then defense evasion as well. CloudTrail attack, defense evasion, they're trying to also delete CloudTrail. So this is just showing us a sequence of attack chains that we can look into and investigate. So basically what extended threat detection has been able to do is pick each of these signals, right, and correlate them together for us to properly understand them, or understand the attack sequence. And the resource that was affected was I am user John access key. Okay, so let me check if you have any question. Okay, someone said you might want to delegate to a third-party security company. Yeah, if you have, yeah, if you have, yeah, I think already answered that. So if you have an external security company that manage your security for you, right? You can delegate that. So maybe their company's AWS accounts. Okay. So I'm just going to proceed. All right. So I'm just going to proceed. Now, after doing this, after discovering these findings, what next? The next step is remediation, right? So we can learn more about remediation step for each of these findings. So if you want to, you have an EC2 instance compromised, or you have an S3 bucket compromised, there are remediation steps, and that's why AWS provides well documented resources to help when it comes to responding to threats or responding to threats or compromise or security incidents within your environment. So once you're able to find or figure out the threats within GuardDuty, you can remediate them using some of these documentation steps. All right, let's go back to the findings. All right. So there are a lot of findings here that that have been generated. So we have EC2. Let's look at the one of EC2. So for the EC2, it's connecting with a Tor entry node. Sorry, let me look at. Let me look at this one. No. Okay. Let me just. So I could also filter to archive. You can archive certain. You can archive certain reports or what's it called, findings, if you feel they are not well or they are not accurate. Okay, individual findings only. So we can narrow it to individual findings and get feedback credentials from. So basically, you can play around these sample files of sample generated findings rather. Let me go back to summary. So we are dealing with the top three, right? So we also have one of compromised data for S3 buckets. So we can view this one as well and see. So in this case, we have 14 signals. So still, the attacker was able to leverage Jondo access key to carry out an attack chain or an attack. So they moved to, so the attacker compromised John's access key. What did they do? They first listed the S3 buckets, then they deleted CloudTrail logs to cover their tracks just to ensure that they are not so this is defense invasion. They are doing discovery to list the buckets and see what's actually in the S3 buckets. Then also attach policy was invoked. So they created for persistence, the attach policy. Then also for put bucket was invoked. Okay, so they also for persistence as well. Then they tried to disable, or they disabled what's it called, CloudTrail log, and they also deleted the object. So exfiltration. So they get object and deleted the object. So after exfiltrating, they delete the object, holding the objects to ransom, or asking the company if they want to pay and get their data back, or basically just do what they like, basically. And actions, we could also copy and see that. So I think that for the three attack sequence that was generated from. You also have compromised cluster of EKS cluster, and you could also view details and see the patterns that. So they basically, the attacker was basically using the EKS cluster for crypto, most likely impact resource hijacking. So Bitcoin related domain name. Yeah, for crypto mining. All right. We detect execution, then also privilege escalation. So this basically maps to attack, so MITRE attack, MITRE attack chain or MITRE attack framework. All right. So do we have any question from this end before we dive into doing any the other part of the simulation. Any question from anyone? Okay, since I'm not getting any question, so let me dive into um, the all right. So let me dive into. Can we see my screen? Let me be sure. I think I'm sharing my terminal. Yeah. All right. So all right. So let's dive into leveraging. Let's dive into leveraging. Let's dive into leveraging. What's it called? The Stratos Red Team and the Stratos Red Team and sorry, the Stratos Red Team and PACU for for initial attack or yeah for simulation, just to simulate some attack techniques or tactics. Then we the logs get generated and we see some things from there. All right, so let me give us a brief introduction about the Stratos Red Team. So Stratos Red Team has a lot of what's it called, attack simulation. So for example, it simulates retrieval of EC2 password data, steal EC2 instance credentials. You want to delete CloudTrail logs, it simulates that. Attempt to leave an organization. So it basically simulates different activities and also map them to MITRE attack tactics or techniques also in between. That so if you're trying to launch, so let's say for example, an attacker wants to perform resource hijacking by launching an EC2 instance, right? You want to launch an EC2 instance. So, for example, imagine after compromising an environment and the attacker tries to launch a PXL compute and use it and leverage it for crypto mining. Also, look, imagine an attacker trying to give, for example, an attacker is trying to exfiltrate data from an EC2 instance by opening port 222 to any IP address, right? Or having EC2 in, yeah. We also have S3 ransomware. So it has a lot of attack tactics or attack simulations that can be leveraged. All right. So also for PACU, if you're new to PACU or PACU, I think you can also do a simulation of PACU simulation where you can leverage so PACU as so this blog basically just detail how you leverage the IAM privilege escalation module within PACU to escalate privilege. So I'm just going to give some context. Bob has this IAM policy. So this is a custom policy attached to Bob, and there's this particular policy is uses wildcards, which basically allows put objects. So the or put policy, the vulnerability that was leveraged here was the wildcards, because this wildcard allow you to do putting objects. So with PACU, you can leverage privilege escalation and allow you to use gaining put user policy. So with privilege escalation, with privilege escalation module, Bob can escalate privilege with PACU. All right, so you can just try to do that. You can just try to simulate this. All right, I think the blogs already detail how to do. Also, if you want to do if you want to walk through setting up Stratos Red Team, this blog also detail how to set up Stratos Red Team and do the simulation. However, I'm just going to show us some things. I'm just going to show us some things that were already done here. All right. So within my AWS, I already connected everything within my AWS. Because of time, I won't be able to do this. But I already connected everything within my. I already connected my Stratos Red Team to my AWS, so you can use that blog I showed you to try it out. Then denoted all these attacks, all right, generated all these attacks. So for example, let's see one that let's talk about, I think there's one that secret manager, secret manager. Or let's talk about creating IAM rules. So I'm just going to navigate to my console so we can see that. So I'm going to navigate to IAM. So we can see that I actually deploy some of these simulations. So within within my IAM user, I have Bob, I have Dave, I have malicious IAM user, I have Stratos. So these were basically simulations that I did. Basically, they all created some kind of what's it called now? Some kind of backdoor vulnerabilities that normally one shouldn't. Also, I have backdoor malicious IAM user, malicious Lambda, also malicious rules. Basically, all these are malicious rules, all right, that have been created or launched from Stratos Red Team. Okay. If you, for more context, you can leverage this blog to deploy. It's well detailed, so you can leverage it to deploy your own from your end. All right. So back to this. So so now going back to GuardDuty. All right. So I'm going back to GuardDuty. So I've been able to launch I've been able to launch okay, I'm in Ohio, sorry. Let me switch. So I launched it on US East 1. So this is the region I launched the entire attack sequence, the Stratos and the PACU. This is the region I launched it. So basically, from the dashboard, I can see that I have top threats, potential IAM user, indicated sequence. So I'm going to look into this. This is very critical. Then Stratos can see here Stratos trying to stop CloudTrail logs, disable CloudTrail logs. Okay, so let's just dive into the attack sequence that was discovered. So I'm going to click view details for more context. So here we have four signal indicating potential credential compromise from IAM user Goody, Terra Goody, which has this access ID. Between this period, right, that was when the attacker launched the attack. So the finding updates as follows. So they have three MITRE attack observed: exfiltration, impact, and defense evasion. Also, fourth MITRE attack. Tactics. So tactics, three tactics, four techniques. So for the techniques, exfiltration, impaired defense as well, data encryption of impact. All right. So if you look at they were, I mean, they've been highlighted for us. So we could also look at the indicators, the attack technique, the tactics, then the risks of all this. Then we can also look into the IAM user, Goody Terra, and also the endpoints, the IP address that was used, and the location. So this is coming from Glasgow, and this is coming from this particular ISP service provider. Then when we look more into the signals connection, like connecting the dots, we have IAM user entity invoked API call. So this API call trying to copy objects, it shows some kind of exfiltration, and it was still the attacker leveraged this IP address and also the Goody Terra access key. Then also AWS CloudTrail. All right, so the attacker was trying to impair defense by deleting CloudTrail. Also, I think he tried multiple times. Okay, impaired defense, disable defense evasion, impaired defense. Then also right here, impaired defense. So the attacker tried to delete CloudTrail, stop CloudTrail, and also delete CloudTrail, and also put event selector as well. So if you want to dig more into that, you can. So the resources that were affected in this context were Goody Terra and this S3 bucket. So the attacker was trying to launch a ransomware to our S3 bucket, right? So this is a particular event that was captured during that simulation. So there are other events, but these are all single individual findings. These are individual findings. So the extended threat detection was able to connect the dots by saying, oh, this is what's actually trying to do, and this was what was discovered. Yeah. So basically, I think that's all. So when it comes to um, when it comes to trying to remediate, then we can leverage. Um, Let me go back to settings. So if you want to, you can connect your or export your findings to bridge event bridge, linking it to a Lambda remediation, or you can connect it to SNS to give you notification on any recent findings, or you can export your findings to S3 bucket for more um, detailed investigation. All right. So I think, yeah, I think that's most likely all about extended threat detection feature that was recently added to GuardDuty. If you want more context into the documentation, you can read up the GuardDuty attack sequence finding types. All right, so these are just samples trying to make you understand, yeah, the attack sequence. Also, you can also read up their how it works, for more details on how you can utilize this attack extended threat detection feature. Yeah, thank you. So do you have any question? Yeah, any question from anyone? All right. So I'll hand over to Israel to.
Hello,
Yeah, I
goodness.
can hear you.
So I said that there's a question here that I think perhaps you didn't just see.
Okay.
Does the AWS account used for delegation have to be part of the organization? You know, you said that we can actually delegate the security, to a third
Yeah.
party. So now someone is asking that does that delegation has to be that the person has to be using part of should be part of the AWS organization
Uh,
from Mario Wafajube.
So it can be an external AWS account. So give an example. Your company doesn't have a security team, right? And you're trying to outsource your security to a what's it called? A security company. However, your software runs on AWS and you need to monitor security on your AWS. Now you now delegating a security account, or maybe you create a security account like under an organization account, create a security account and grant the external security team access, or you request for their AWS accounts. You ask for the third party security vendor or security company AWS accounts, then you add it to your what's it called, GuardDuty administrator delegator or delegation rather. Then they will be able to have access and monitor your GuardDuty events for you. So either way works, but I think the
All
best way
right.
to go about it is having an organization, AWS organization, under AWS organization rather, have a security operation unit, had create an AWS account, assign the external security engineer the account, so that when it comes to offboarding the guys, right, you can offboard properly, so you don't have to depend on the external vendor. I hope what I'm saying makes sense.
All right. Thank you so very much. Goodness. Please, is there any other person with a question? If you have any question before we move to another segment of this, study series. So I can see that Aurelua said he does not have any question. And of course, Aurelua is saying a great presentation to you, and actually also comment. I mean, your presentation, it was a very good one. And thank you, Aurelua, for also giving us your preference on what you have chosen to do. If you are in the position to choose, security for your company. Okay, so guys, I mean, we've actually hear from Goodness. So a quick one. It's game. It's a game time. It's game time. So just want to have just you know haven't gone through the session and we've enjoyed ourselves. We've gathered knowledge, as it were. So we want to quickly do this game. So we need you to look at the link that we have here to join. Just go to the link that we have here, and then we quickly do you know, the game. So we're waiting for you to join. I'm waiting for you to join Oroluwa Mayowa and the other host of persons that are, in this session. Quickly join. We are waiting for you to join. So as soon as we get people joining, we will start the game. So at the end of this game, we'll be picking the winners. So winners should just send an email to AWS Cloud Sec West Africa, AWS Cloud Sec West Africa at gmail.com. So that you can be rewarded with your gifts. Okay, we have one person join. I'm waiting for others to join. The link to join is asklight.com / 5p8dg. That's the link to join the game. Okay, we have someone else join. Toby, welcome. So we're waiting for others to join. Okay, we have three persons already. We're waiting for others to join. So in another 2 minutes, if no other person join, we start the game. In just 2 minutes, if no other persons join, we start the game. Okay, so it seems that we just have two persons. I mean, joining the game. So we will start now. We'll start the game. So let's start. First person to answer the question: what is the benefit of GuardDuty new AI ML capability? What is the benefit of GuardDuty's new artificial intelligence machine learning capabilities? Time up. Let's see the winner. Wow. So we have one person picking it completely prevents attackers from performing so, and then we have nobody picked the two other options, but then we have it reduces the mean time to detect by automatically correlating related security events. So um let's see the next question. What is one of the most serious risk of alert fatigue in security operation? What is one of the most serious risk of alert fatigue in serious operation in security operations? All right, everyone has answered. Let's see our answer. Wow, wow. Okay, it's good. So the leaderboard, we have Fad Fadmayo, followed by Toby. We have Atom, we have Chibuke, and then we have Fatma. So from what we have here, okay, let's move on. Third question: which of the following best describe the runtime visibility gap? Which of the following best describe the runtime visibility gap? Quickly. So let's see our answer now. Let's see our answer. Okay. So the answer is the lack of insight into processes. Okay. The leader, Atom, Atom. We have Atom this time. So the next question, question 4. In a multi-stage attack, what is the lateral movement and discovery phase? In a multi-stage attack, what is the lateral movement and discovery phase? So let's see the winner. Okay. All right. Four persons answered event when an attacker already inside the system. So I can't see it very well. My image is covering it. So let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Atom. Again, Atom is leading by two scores. So let's move. This is the last question. Let's move to the last question now. How has gas duty approach to reporting attacks changed with the introduction of extended threat detection? Quickly, how has gas duty approach to reporting attacks changed with the introduction of extended threat detection? Quickly. So let's see our answer. Let's see the winners. Okay, five persons. All right. So let's see the leaderboard. Let's see our leaderboard. Let's see our leaderboard. Atom, Atom, Atom. So we have 6 players play this game, and we have Atom with 348 points. So Atoms get our gift. Atom is the winner for this game. So Atom, please send mail to AWS Cloud West Africa at gmail.com to claim your gift. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us at this time for this session. It's so nice having you around. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we come to the end of this session, I'd like to ask if we have anyone with any question as we bring this thing to a close. As we bring this to a close, any question, clarity as it were, if there is none. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this insightful session on leveraging Amazon GuardDuty extended threat detection to enhance cloud security. I sincerely want to say a very big thank you for being part of this relevant conversation. And I'm very sure that we must have, gotten one or two things from what Goodness Adedeji shared with us. So, via this conversation, we have explored how guard duty helps us move from just reactive security to a more proactive threat aware cloud environment. From threat detection to anomaly analysis, we now have a clearer tools and strategies to fortify our AWS infrastructure. So I want to believe that having joining us, we now have a clearer understanding on how to actually you know go about our security and getting analysis on any security threat that is disturbing or coming around our AWS infrastructure. So a special thank you to our speaker. I want to sincerely thank our speaker, Goodness Adediran, for shedding light on how organization can practically implement guard duty in their security infrastructure. Your insights are both timely and actionable. So to all of our attendees, I can see I can see here the likes of Oreoluwa, I can see the likes of Mayowa, and everyone that has joined in the game. I see Ekemena, and I see Promise, and everyone that has joined this session. I want to say that thank you for your engagement. Thank you so much for the question, for your insights that you actually put in while this session was going on. But I'd like to say that if there is one takeaway, it's that cloud security is not a one-time configuration. So we need to understand that it is an ongoing discipline. And tools like GuardDuty are powerful allies that can help us achieve that. So we encourage you that don't just join this session, but to explore the resources that have been shared today. Like Goodness was telling us how to go over it and look at how this thing is done over and over again. So I encourage us to actually explore resources that are available on AWS you know portal, ask more questions, and you should continue learning. And if you haven't already, please do connect with AWS team or your account manager to start implementing or optimizing guard duty in your environment. You can also join us because we have a WhatsApp platform. We also have a presence on LinkedIn. For some of us, I know that some of us must have gotten this information from LinkedIn. So we have a presence on LinkedIn. We also have WhatsApp platform, AWS Cloud Security User Group Nigeria. So we encourage you to also join us, you know, um, to join us so that you can always get information about this study series that have been going on. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you again for your time and participation. Stay secure, stay informed, and enjoy the rest of your day. For those of us who are in Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your evening. And for those who are, in diaspora, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice